Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Radha, Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha, Madhava, Kunja Bihari. Gopichana Balava, Girivaradhari. Gopichana Balava, Girivaradhari. Gopichana Balava, Girivaradhari. Gopichana Balava, Girivaradhari. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tira Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai Go Premanandi Hari Hari. Definitely in the Brahman effulgence. It's okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Sort of. It's all right. What is said is more important than what one looks like. Right? Although in the material world that may not be true. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I want to pick a purport that has the fourth verse of the Shishastakam, so I have to find that by searching, and then as I wanted to talk about that. So you just have to give me a moment. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. Wow. Let's find it in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, please.
Wow. Okay. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 20, Text 31. If you want to find it, you can chant with us. 4:20:31. This chapter is entitled Lord Vishnu's Appearance in the Sacrificial Arena of Maharaj Prithu. Tanmaya yadha jana isha kandito Yaranya ashasta ritatmano buddha Yananyad ashasta ritatmano buddha Yata chared bhala hitam pita swayam Chared bhala hitam pita swayam Tatatvam evarhasina samihitam Samihitam Tvan maya yadha jana isha kandito Yaranya ashastra ritatmano buddha Shasta. It's okay. Yata chared bhala hitam pita swayam Tatatvam evarhasina samihitam Tam maya yadha jana isha kandito Yaranyad asasta vitatmano buddha Yad asasta Yatha chared bhala hitam pita sayam Tatatvam evarhasina samihitum You want to chant? Give it a try.
Tanmaya yada jana isha kandito Yadanyat ashastaritatmanubhuta Yata charit balahitam pita swayam Tatatvam eva hasina samihitum
Any other brave devotees in the audience? Hamaya yadha jana isha kandito
Tathatvam eva dasina samihiti
Shakandito
Yata charit bala hitam pita swayam Tata tvameva hasina samhitam Tata tvameva hasina samhitam.
You should all be good in Sanskrit because you speak two languages. And the Germans were Sanskrit scholars. I don't know if they still are, but... Right? Did you know that? The Germans were like back in maybe 1940s or so. They were interested in... Yeah, that's what I was told. There were a lot of Sanskrit scholars amongst Germans. I heard, I don't know, maybe they had Sanskrit departments in the university. So, knowing more than one language, you have to adapt to the language. So you should be better than I am in Sanskrit, because I only know one language. That's, you know the joke? If you know two, you're bilingual. If you know three, you're called trilingual. And if you know one, you're called American. But if you can go online and you can, there I think is Prabhupada chanting the whole Bhagavad Gita. You can hear him chanting the whole Bhagavad Gita. And of course, there's classes, and whatever class Prabhupada gives, even if he doesn't chant the verse, someone else does. Before he speaks, he'll chant it. So someone else will chant it, and then he'll Tam maya yadha jana isha kondito yad anya a shashta vitatmano buddha yata chared bhalahitam pita sayang tata tvam evarhasi na samihitum. And then he would give the class. So you can hear him. And there's also, if you go online, you can find recordings of people who actually know Sanskrit, like usually South Indians, and they're chanting the Gita. Or maybe Bhagavatam, maybe you could find everything, but they know it perfect, so you could learn it perfect if you want. If you want. Word meanings. Twat, your. Maya, by illusory energy. Adha, certainly. Janaha, the people in general. Isha, O my Lord. Kanditaha, separated. Yat, because. Anyat, other. Asaste, they desire. Rita, real. Atmanaha, from the self. Abhutaha, without proper understanding. Yata, as. Charet, would engage in. Bala hitam, the welfare of one's child. Pita, the father. Swayam, personally. Tata, similarly. Tvam, your lordship. Eva, certainly. Arhasi nasam mihitum. Please act on my behalf. So, this is, I guess Maharaj Prithu must be speaking to Lord Vishnu when he appeared, because that's the name of this chapter. So for now we'll assume this is Maharaj Prithu speaking to Lord Vishnu. My Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in the material world have forgotten their real constitutional position, and out of ignorance they are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you. But as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son, please bestow upon me whatever you think is best for me. Beautiful. Let's repeat. My Lord.
My Lord.
due to your illusory energy. All living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position and out of ignorance. They are always desirous of material happiness. In the form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you. But as a father not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son, please bestow upon me whatever you think best for me. Now I'm going to make a second assumption that Lord Vishnu was offering him a benediction. And he doesn't want to ask for anything other than what he wants to give him. That's my guess. Sounds like it, doesn't it? Yes? Yes or yes? I think it sounds like it to me, yeah. Okay, purport. It is the duty of the son to depend upon his father without asking anything from him. The good son has faith that the father knows best how to benefit him. Similarly, the pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for material benefit, nor does he ask anything for spiritual benefit. The pure devotee is fully surrendered unto a spiritual benefit. Means like, I want to go to the spiritual world, have a body like Vishnu in the spiritual world. Not that he doesn't pray to become a pure devotee. The pure devotee is fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. And the Lord takes charge of him, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 1866. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yisyami. The Father knows the necessities of the Son and supplies them. And the Supreme Lord knows the necessities of the living entities and supplies them sumptuously. You know this word sumptuous? What it means? I've only heard that word used in relation to prasadam. I'm going to have to look it up. Hold on. That is an interesting use of the word. Sumptuous. I always thought sumptuous meant delicious, but I actually never really looked it up. Sumptuous. Beautiful, deliciously abundant. Let's see what it means. Splendid and expensive looking. Lavish, luxurious. Okay, so then lavish and luxurious. So that makes sense, right? Deluxe, opulent, magnificent. Okay, so it makes sense. I thought it meant delicious. It means kind of opulent. Sour cream and ghee. Prasadam should be sumptuous. Okay, sour cream and ghee, that'll do it. Let's read that again. The Father knows the necessities of the Son and supplies them. And the Supreme Lord knows the necessities of the living entities and supplies them sumptuously. Wow. Therefore, the Isopanishad states that everything in this material world is complete. Purnam idam, Isopanishad invocation. The difficulty is that due to forgetfulness, the living entity creates unnecessary demands. And the living entities create unnecessary demands and entangle themselves in material activities. The result is that there is no end to material activities, life after life. Yeah, we all know this, right? If you even want to taste one sweet ball, you'll have to come back. Take birth again to eat that sweet ball. So you can't become attached even to a sweet ball. You think, oh, when I die, I'm not going to think of a sweet ball. There's a very advanced devotee. She left this world long, long ago, maybe 25 plus years ago. What? No, her name is Gauri. She's a disciple of Prabhupada. And she would, I don't know, she was being interviewed or she was writing a journal, and it was, I think, being published in Back to God. So it was kind of like you could, not kind of like, you could read what a person dying is thinking of. And so she had a lot of really good realizations, like, you know, okay, so when you guys die, I'm already doing it. When you die, I can tell you how to do it, you know, because I'm doing it. It was kind of like that. So she said, everything is good, but I'm just thinking of one thing. The salad dressing at the Los Angeles restaurant. I'd really like to have some of that salad dressing. So don't underestimate the power of that sweet ball. It could cause you to come back and take birth as a nut or something, you know, to become a sweet, yeah. No, you know, like people attached to their guitar, watch out, you come back as a tree, because guitars are made out of wood. You know. If you're a dirty hippie, you come back as a cockroach, you know. These cockroaches like dirt. Prabhupada used to joke like that. Hippies would become cockroaches. So, I don't know if he was serious or he was just joking. He said surfers will become fish. I just take it that he was serious, because that's where the consciousness was. Yeah. So, yeah. So the point is, this world is very magnetic, and if you want anything in this magnetic world, then your consciousness goes there. And then, instead of thinking of Krishna at the time of death, you think of that salad dressing. And of course, I'm sure she transcended the salad dressing. She was very advanced. But as a side point, she said something really valuable. I don't know if I should tell you though. I don't know if you're ready for it. You want to hear it?
Yes.
It was so beautiful. So, you know, when you're leaving your body and she was young, she was probably in her 40s, so I don't know, maybe she had cancer. You know, as I understand, she was in an uncomfortable position, but she was tolerating it. And so she wrote, she said, this is not that difficult, you can do it also. You just have to tolerate. It's not that difficult to tolerate. Or maybe she just meant, you know, tolerate the mind when you see the body's breaking down. But anyway, she said, you can do it, it's not that difficult if you learn to tolerate. And I don't know if she said this or I just thought this, but I think she said, therefore, practice tolerance, so at the time of death, you'll be tolerant. I thought, well, that's beautiful. And we were saying that, weren't we, in a class the other day? That, you know, if you practice something, then at the time of death, you can do it. But if you don't, then the time of death comes, you'll be like the parrot. Going, rah, 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 rah. He almost drove off the cliff yesterday, and I was like, ah! I didn't say Hare Krishna, I said, ah! Like the parrot. Failed the test. No, he didn't almost drive off the cliff. It just looked like he did. He was in control, right? I just thought he wasn't. So I thought that's so beautiful. You know, we think, so hard to be tolerant, so hard to practice tolerance or whatever it is, control my anger, it's so difficult. So hard to be nice to people when they're not nice, and etc., etc. Yeah, but when you're dying, so everything you did in life, now it's your practice, or you were not practiced, and then it gets. So I love that. Was beautiful. But she was a very advanced, very, very advanced devotee, very renounced devotee, really renounced. Never married, at least not as a devotee, and just was an artist and a book distributor, and just, she was like 10 years older than all of us. And, she would just go out on book distribution and live austerely. And she's talking about salad dressing at L.A.'s Govinda's restaurant that she was thinking about. I don't know if she was serious or what, but interesting, right? Watch out for that salad dressing. It could be dangerous. Hare Krishna. Before us, there are varieties of living entities, and everyone is entangled in transmigrations and activities. Our duty is simply to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and let Him take charge, for He knows what is good for us. Duh. Think you know better than Him? Yeah, I think so. I got to watch out for number one, Take care of, you got to take care of yourself. If you give yourself to Krishna, who knows what He's going to do with you, It's like you got to take care of yourself, protect yourself, Treat yourself right. That's how we think, isn't it? Krishna, He's dangerous. He could, steal my money, or who knows? Steal my wife, and now I have no money, no wife. Surrender business could be dangerous. Yeah, that's how we think. Because we are certified fools. Krishna certified Arjuna as a fool, and he's really talking about us. Rubber stamp, certified fool. Because we think, if I surrender to Krishna, that's it, it's all over, misery begins. As if we haven't had misery, Prithu Maharaj therefore tells the Lord that, as the Supreme Father, He may elect to bestow whatever He considers beneficial for Prithu Maharaj. That is the perfect position of a living entity. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us in his Sikh Shastaka, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundari. I don't want Janam, followers, Dhanam, wealth, Sundari, beautiful women. Kavitam va Jagadisha Kamai, nor am I attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas, which teach me how to create good karma so I can go to a higher planet and live a better life in my next life. Mama Janmani Janmanishvare, all I want, life after life. Oh my Lord, Bhavatad Bhaktir Haituki Tvai, pure devotional service. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor have I any desire to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. The conclusion is that the pure devotee should not aspire after any material benefit from devotional service, nor should he be enamored with fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. He should always be engaged favorably in the service of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of life. So, sometimes devotees ask me, should I get married or shouldn't I? Not sometimes, a lot of times. And the real answer is, the answer to every should I or shouldn't I question, the real answer is this going to help you in Krishna consciousness or is it not? Because it's not. Why do you want to get married? Because I want to enjoy. No, that's not why. The Prabhupada saying here, you shouldn't aspire after any benefit from devotional service. So, is it wrong to want to get married? Is it wrong to want a house, to want to have money, to have this, that, and the next thing? It all depends on if that's going to help you or not. If it helps you, it's not wrong. And let's say you don't get married and you end up in a really bad situation, then not getting married is bad. Right? Because we would generically think, if you don't have to get married, don't. Because it's bad. If you can remain single, it's good. But for some people, that's true. But not for everybody. So, a devotee never thinks, what's going to make me happy? How will I enjoy? Devotee thinks, how will I advance? So it just looks like he's enjoying, or she's enjoying, because they need certain things to advance. Right? You need a 3 square meter room and you're happy. He needs a 10 square meter room. He needs 100 square meter. She needs 1,000 square meter house. No, she doesn't. And she wouldn't mind if she had one. But you know what I'm saying? Different people need different things. And maybe she needs it because she's organizing these huge programs. And she needs this big kitchen to cook for everybody. So Krishna, give me a big house. I want to do these huge programs. Temple's not even big enough. So we'll do it in my house. Of course, you could say, why don't you pray for a bigger temple instead of a bigger house? But you know what I'm saying. It's the devotee, when they're thinking about what they want, it's always like thinking in terms of how this is going to help me in my service or help me in my spiritual advancement. So the want has nothing to do with what I want. You know. So Leela Sukha says, I want to get married. I say, Leela Sukha, why do you want to get married? So I can enjoy. No. Leela Sukha, if you think you can enjoy a woman, I got news for you. Doesn't work like that. You have to become a slave of a woman. Slave for the woman. Then you can enjoy. No, you become the servant. You see that woman as Krishna's servant. You serve that woman. And then you enjoy, but not the way a 16-year-old boy thinks he's going to enjoy that woman. Then you enjoy because you're together coming closer to Krishna. And that's enjoyable. So that's how a devotee thinks. You know? Like, if I gave you €1,000,000 right now, does that guarantee that money's going to make you happy? No, it's all how you use it. Right? You use that money. Oh, we could buy a temple. And you find this building, like the one next door, a synagogue, and like, oh yeah, we'll sell it for €1,000,000, and you buy it, and you're ecstatic. You could never be that happy buying your own house. Right? It's not possible. Look, we have a temple. This is beautiful. All the devotees are excited, fixing it up. So you're so happy. Right? So, how much is that building? Let's say it's $1,000,000. Yeah. So now, Mahatma Prabhu, what do you want? I want $1,000,000. Oh, you want $1,000,000? What's wrong with you? No, I want to buy that temple. I'm not even going to live in it. I'm only going to see it like 3 days a year. But I want $1,000,000 to buy that temple. Because we need it. So that's, so a devotee has his only desire is calculated in terms of, I want something because it's going to help service or it's going to help me advance. And so but there's another point being made here in this verse where Pritha Maharaj is saying, why don't you just give me what you think I need? Like really renounce. Like I don't want to ask anything. Prahlad Maharaj also didn't want to ask. So sometimes the devotee's at this point where his relationship is so loving to Krishna, it's like, I don't want to ask you for anything, that'll ruin it. And in Judeo-Christian tradition, it's all about asking. Right? And the devotee's like, I don't want to ask. Nrsingadev's like, no, take. No, I don't want to ask. No, take. give me the benediction. Then I'll never take a benediction. You know, it's just like, I don't. Okay, I'll ask. You liberate my father, but not for myself. So that he protected himself. He didn't ask anything for himself, and he satisfied Lord Nrsimhadev, who wanted him to ask something. And that's the devotee. Now, sometimes the devotee's in a predicament, and he doesn't want to ask Krishna, but he doesn't know who else to ask, and there's no way to get out of the predicament. So he asks Krishna reluctantly. Sorry, Krishna, but I have to ask this. Could you help me? You know, the tax collector's coming. He's going to arrest me. I didn't pay my taxes. Like, you know, I need help. I don't know what to do. You know, I want to go on Sankirtan today, but if I go on the street, they'll pick me up and put me in jail. Help me. So sometimes it's like that. It's like, I have, you know, Krishna, I don't want to ask, but like I don't know who else to ask. But it's all for service. It's always still for service. So when you read the verse, Nadanam Najanam Nasundari, you might think, well, I'm not on that level. But if you want these things, but you only want them because it'll help your service or help your advance, in a broader sense, you are following that verse. Although that may not be exactly Mahaprabhu's mood, but still within broader parameters, you can say, yeah, I don't want what I need money for. But at the same time, if I don't have money, I can't eat. So obviously I need some. And I need money for service. For me personally, I don't need much. Prabhupada would say, so you have some desire, so you marry one woman. There's 4 billion out there, you pick one and be satisfied. That's almost as hard, or if not harder, than being a brahmachari. You get one, brahmachari gets 0, but brahmachari can still get one if he wants to get married. You can't, it's over for you. So it's almost harder for you. So, you know, it's the same thing. You get one and you serve together. So it's more or less the same thing. So if you're a brahmachari, maybe that's better, but not really, because it's all about your love for Krishna. So that's what's important. But you're thinking, I want this because it'll help me. Just like we have the story of Kapila Dev. Kapila Dev's doing like this severe tapasya, and then he approaches the Lord, you know, I'd like to get married. And, you know, the brahmacharis are like, why would he want to get married? He's doing this tapasya. But, you know, everybody's different. It's like, you don't always understand. You ever want something and you don't know why? It's like that, you know. It's like past samskaras. It's just like, I want this. I don't even want it, but I want it. And I don't know why I want it. It would be easier in life if I didn't want it, but I want it, and I don't know what to do about it other than get it, so I stop wanting it. Like that, right? So, okay. If that's what you have to do, you just do it. And then it's done, and it's over, and you stop wanting it, and everything's good. But you're, you know, like sometimes we're hungry, but we're busy, and it would really be easier not to eat. So you kind of put it off. And you put it off to this point where you can't put it off anymore because you can't focus on what you're doing. So a lot of times you're just eating just so you can go back to your service and focus on what you're doing. It's not even like it's like that a big a thing, you know, like what's there to eat? I don't know, it's just avocado and toast. Okay, let's eat it and get it over with and get back to our service. So, yeah, that's a devotee. Hare Krishna. So, now, there's also, so maybe I'm on this level where I think, well, that would be really nice if I could just go all day without eating. That would be fantastic. So then this Nadanam Najanam Nasundari verse is Krishna, someday, maybe, like, I won't want any of these things, like nothing. Maybe that'll happen. And so you can recite the verse as a prayer for that to happen. Not a present tense, I don't want, but I would like, you know, I want these things, I can use them in service, it's good for my service, But someday I'd like to not want anything other than pure bhakti. So you can pray like that. Like I was saying this morning, if you pray that way every day during japa, what do you think is going to happen after a while? Something good is bound to happen. The desire for pure bhakti is going to get stronger. Right? But if you chant every day and there's nothing, it's just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. There's not a real strong desire or intensity for pure bhakti, then what's going to happen? That's easy to answer. What are you going to get back from your mantra? You're going to get back what you put into it. Right? Prabhu, I've been investing in the stock market since I was 15. Oh my God, you must have a lot of money. No, well, why don't? Well, I actually only invested 1 cent. So with interest and inflation, it's like I have about $23.16 after 50 years. Right? So, if we invest very little and we think we're going to get a lot back, it doesn't work that way. So if you invest, okay, Krishna, I am not Nadanam Najanam Nasundare. Actually, I like beautiful women, and I like money. It would be nice to have a lot. And, a little honor here and there wouldn't hurt. So, but I know it's not really good, so I'm praying, someday help me. Like I would really like to not desire this, but I do. And I can use it in your service, and I try. But help me someday. No, I want nothing. And also, if we want to successfully spread Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada has written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, come. Women, wealth, and fame will follow you as you advance in Krishna consciousness. And now what do you do? If you are not Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, when Dhanam, Janam, and Sundarim come, you're in trouble. And it comes as a byproduct of spreading Krishna consciousness and advancing. And so, if we want more people and we want to buy the temple next door and therefore need money, and sometimes honor is good because people respect you, they listen to you. Isn't it? Like if you're famous, you go on YouTube, immediately you say whatever, oh, the weather's good today, and you get, 1 million likes just for saying anything, right? You go, okay, that's good, maybe fame is good. And Krishna will see, oh yeah, you're a very humble devotee, you do not care for adoration, you do not care for wealth, opulence, these things. Okay, let me give it to you. Because you can use it. So that's important. Because we need these things. And we need a lot of these things to spread Krishna consciousness. And Krishna will give them to those devotees who are okay with them. That can not get affected by them. Otherwise, why would Krishna give you all these things if he knows you're just going to drown yourself? He wouldn't. So that's the conundrum. We don't want these things. At the same time, we need these things. And if we have latent desires for them, then when we get them, all hell lets loose. Sometimes we don't even know what desires we have until we get these things. Then it's like, it triggers something in us. And it's like, I didn't even know I had a desire for this. And I didn't know how nice it is to be glorified. I need more of this. I didn't know how nice it feels to have power, and you're like, you want more of it. So, and Krishna says, okay, see you later. And, that didn't work. Let's find someone else. So that's important. If we're going to be successful in spreading Krishna consciousness, Krishna has to be able to use us. So, that's the verse for today. And if you have any questions, comments, arguments, discussion points, or especially controversies, then please ask. You know, controversy sells, right? Oh, here's something funny. You know, Prabhupada didn't usually ask for questions, but maybe in the early days he did. But then once there were no questions. And he said, what, you know everything? No question?
I was reading, I'm still reading Transcendental Diary, and it was also like this once. Nobody asked questions, Prabhupada was confused why, and he was thinking maybe it was not interested for them. But then the devotees told him no, everything was so clear that they didn't have any question. And also from Transcendental Diary, Lokanatha Maharaja asked whether grihastas could make spiritual advancement. Prabhupada replied candidly, that advancement is not very solid, but there is advancement, but it is not very solid. They say, we want to come together to serve the Lord. Is that excuse or is that Prabhupada broke into a smile? Together they go to hell. He explained that ultimately the spirit of detachment must be there, no matter what the external dress. If a householder is working only for Krishna, then he is also a sannyasi.
Yeah. Prabhupada would sometimes joke about grihastas. I think his joking was just his observation. That's, like sometimes he observed both, like really good grihastas, really renounced. And he said it was really funny that his godbrothers went to England and not much happened, and then his disciples went to England, and it was the newspaper article said like Hare Krishna or Krishna startles England. So Prabhupada said, 3 grihasta couples startled England, and a couple sannyasis and brahmacharis didn't make much of a dent. So like that, he said, yeah, they're like sannyasi. And sometimes grihastas wanted to take sannyas. He said, why? You're already sannyas. Like sannyas means everything for Krishna, so what's the problem? But sometimes he saw man is nice, woman is nice, everything's good, they get together, not nice. It's like the synergy, the chemistry, it could go up, it could go down. So sometimes he saw that, so that's why he would make those statements. And I don't know what was going on, but I guess at one time he was seeing something like the grihasta, it's like Mangalartik, the brahmacharis are there, and no grihastas, like, where are the grihastas? Prabhupada would say, well, they're not a Mangalartik, it means they must have gone to the movies last night. It's like he knows, it's what grihastas do, some of them. So seeing this kind of thing, he made a joke once, and I guess it was happening at the time he made the joke, and he asked one of the grihastas, he said, Shyamasundar Prabhu, why are the grihastas always in Maya? You imagine Prabhupada asked you a question and you're married? I don't know what Shyamasundar said. Maybe he said, I don't know, Prabhupada. Or he came up with something. And Prabhupada was just laughing. He said, because that is their constitutional position. So he would, it's interesting as the guru, he would always present both sides. It's not like this good side of grihastha life doesn't exist. It definitely exists, and it's not like the deep dark side doesn't exist. So he would, it wouldn't pretend either way that they don't exist. So he would talk about both. And that's what it means to present something. You present the whole thing. But here's the thing. Most devotees outside of India, maybe in Russia, I'm not sure, but it's different. But most devotees get married. So you have to figure out how to do it right. We can't just go, okay, Grihastas, once you get married, it's nice knowing you, Prabhu. Maybe in 20 years you'll, recuperate and finally show up at the temple again and do some service. Because that was kind of a little bit of the mood. And so if that's the mood, that's kind of what you do when you get married, because it's like, well, that's what everybody says is going to happen, so it just happens. So that's not good. Oh, do you hear? So-and-so put on white. Oh my God, so bad. How could he do that? That's the end of everything. And so if that's how he's made to think, it's not really like a success formula for a Grihastha ashram, is it? So we don't want to create that. But we want to be realistic about the challenges, right? Now, here's a philosophy that was going around in the 1980s. Find someone you don't like and marry that person. And that way, you'll never become detached. What do you think of that one? Hare Krishna. That's a Bhakta Burfi. That's what Bhakta Burfi does. I'm going to get married. Who are you going to marry? Find someone I hate. I'll never become attached, and the marriage won't last that long, and then I'll take sannyas. Bhakta Burfi takes sannyas. So it's not like that. It's like, no, you do it right, you satisfy that desire, but you do it at the same time, make advancement, and then everything's good. I mean, you could do it Bhakta Burfi's way, but kind of might make your life difficult. Hare Krishna. Oh, yes.
So a pure devotee can sincerely say that, can sincerely pray to Krishna for everything that's beneficial
Yeah.
for him.
And he can pray to Krishna, but he also, there's a part of him that's, okay, Krishna, if this is what you want. But you can also just have faith, like Krishna will give it, like I know you'll give it. And you're like the Father, you'll give what I need. So sometimes Krishna may not give it because we don't have faith he'll give it, and when we have faith, then he'll give it. So that's also a factor.
There's this factor that we might intellectually know that Krishna always gives what we need, but also, as we are still conditioned, we still have this attachment and aversion towards things, material things, like we should be sama in distress and in happiness and fame and we see that we might not be on that level of consciousness, and it's not really the same for us. So how do we handle this at this stage?
In terms of praying, or just in general?
In general and in terms of...
Oh, whatever. In terms of praying, you pray for anything that will help you. any challenge, any obstacle. But as I said before, pray with expectation that Krishna is going to fulfill it, not with a fear that what if he doesn't fulfill it? Then I'm finished. A faith that Krishna will help, like I know you'll help. You always do. And, just give him enough time to work with you. There should be a fundamental faith that whatever I'm facing, whatever challenge I'm facing, if I execute bhakti properly, if I have the desire to be Krishna conscious, Krishna will help with that. And you might say, well, I've been praying for 2 years and still I have this problem. Now Krishna might be thinking, yeah, if I would have relieved you of that problem 2 years ago, it wouldn't have been good for you. You would have taken things lightly. So, do some work, So, but the faith that he will. And, well, I think there's another factor. You could pray to Krishna, but maybe don't mean it enough. So Krishna's confused. So she's praying, but I can see in her heart something else is there. So what am I supposed to do now? So I guess I'll do nothing because I don't really know what she wants. She says she wants this, but in her heart she wants that. I don't know how to read that. Even Krishna has difficulty reading women's minds. So it's when you mean what you pray for, and that's really what you want, and you have faith that Krishna will give it, then it starts happening.
How do we come to that point? From this point where I can.
Yeah, so you come to that point by intellectually understanding it, and then understanding where you're at now, and then adapting to that, and then working from there. You have to get yourself situated properly. Follow, don't imitate, like that. That's there. Work from where you're at. Understand where you're at, be realistic about where you're at. Work from there. Don't lament that you're not a pure devotee in 3 years.
So maybe in some situations, as they happen, maybe although we are attached or we are averse to them, we should just intellectually know this. Krishna is giving me this as a help on my...
Yeah, you can... Okay. Okay, here's the thing. We need challenges. We need difficulties. So, we're trying to run away from them when the solution is to run into them. So Krishna throws a difficulty at you and you bury your head in the sand. And Krishna's like, no, I threw that difficulty at you so you could work through it. And we run away from it. And Krishna's saying well, how can I help you? I'm giving you opportunities and you're running away from them. So problems are not bad. Problems are just, it's information that this is where I'm at and let me think how to deal with it. So I need those. If there weren't, how will I know where I'm at unless there's some failure or something. It happens all the time, You're in a situation, right? And you feel a certain way. Then and it's not a Krishna conscious response. It's information. Why do I feel like this? Whatever it is, envy or lack of self-esteem or arrogance is popping up, or need to be recognized, or whatever it is. That's a problem and we don't like it and it's not good, but it's information. It's this is where I'm at. Okay, if that's where I'm at, then I guess that's what I need to work on now. And so you start praying, thinking, reading, chanting, then Krishna starts helping you. So you feel this way because of this. So don't go this way, go this way. And you'll be okay. The thing is, Krishna is there to give you guidance, but you have to say, okay, Krishna, how about guidance with this? But if you don't even know your own problem, you can't point him to it, and so he might just say, well, I'm just waiting for you to realize this is an issue because I can't talk to you about it until you accept that you have it. So it's all part of the process. But our happiness is that Krishna will work with us. He's on our side. I think a lot of devotees think he's not on our side. He's not going to work with us. He's going to make us miserable. And before we know it, we'll be sleeping on the floor in a cold room. And there's no hot water in the house. And that's my life. And I have to be on Sankirtan 10 hours a day in the snow with a heavy book bag. And that's what Krishna's going to do with me if I surrender. So definitely I'm not going to surrender. No way. Yeah, I think we talked about it the other day. Said how do you think Krishna feels when you portray him like that? And there's no evidence in your life that it's like that. It's just an imaginary idea, right? It's not happening. Hare Krishna. Okay, we have some comments from the Facebook crowd. Let's go back and see what they say. See what they say. They say Hare Krishna. A lot of them are saying Hare Krishna. But I know.
I can read them if you would like.
Yeah, there's one. Tell you where it starts. Yana, no, not Yana.
One from Gaurangi and one from Abhinav.
Okay. Okay, read it.
From Gaurangi, it's okay to ask Krishna for help in solving the problems, but I feel sometimes the motivation behind that is that my mind could be calm and it's going to be easier to practice Krishna consciousness.
That's okay.
Study books, etc.
That's
But
all.
on the other hand, it is easier to pray when we have problems. That's so confusing.
Krishna, thank you for problems. Problems are the way in which I improve. I need the problems to improve. So what was the first thing she said? I pray so I can be peaceful, so I can do my service. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And the second thing was, I don't pray when there's problems.
I know that it's easier to pray when we have problems.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we pray to be peaceful because it's easier to practice.
But it can be the same thing. It's like I pray to be peaceful because I have desires that are making it difficult for me to be Krishna conscious. So Krishna help me become peaceful, that's fine. Not because I want to be peaceful necessarily, but that being peaceful will help my bhakti. So that's why. It's not like the goal is to be peaceful. The goal is to be peaceful so I can serve peacefully. I can serve better. And if a problem comes and it's obviously not created by you, it just shows up, then you understand that. Krishna wants you to work on something. So okay. And he's not going to unnecessarily throw problems at you that you don't need. Like just today's Saturday is Saturn day. Saturn's not so auspicious. So today we throw problems at devotees. Just because that's what we do. It's not like that. I think some people think that, God just arbitrarily is like, okay, today's problem day. Everybody gets problems. No, but you don't need that problem. You need it. You get it. She doesn't. She's already over it. She'll get a different problem. And eventually, she doesn't really need problems because other than that will come naturally because she's okay. A lot of the problems are not problems that Krishna is putting in our life. They're just internal problems that we need to become aware of. Prabhupada said, causeless unwillingness to serve Krishna. That's the real problem. Like, I don't want to serve Krishna. Why? I don't know. There's no reason. It's just unwillingness. For no reason, I'm unwilling. No good reason. So that's the real problem, not that there's some disaster Krishna puts in our life so we chant better rounds tomorrow. But the real problem is our unwillingness. Or whatever else gets in the way that's internal. And so these kinds of problems, they will come all the time because the material world inherently presents those problems. And if you're not aware of your reaction, you're in a situation and it's stimulating you to want to be honored, or it's stimulating envy, or it's agitating you and you're not aware why, and you're not focused on dealing with it, then you're losing like a beautiful chance. The Krishna, just to be self-aware and use that self-awareness to help you advance. And if you use it, then you could say, Krishna, look at me. I've got this and that problem. Now, and Krishna's like, oh, finally you realized it. Okay, let's get to work on it. But if you haven't realized it, Krishna's thinking, I don't know if we can work on this one, because I'll be going, hint, 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 you have this problem, and you'll be thinking, no, I don't. So then how can he work with you? Come on, work with me. Let's work on this. Work on what? This problem. What problem? I don't have that problem. So how's Krishna going to work with you now? So when you become aware, he's like, okay, good. Or another way of looking at it is, I've been trying to help you work on this problem, but you don't listen to me because you don't think it's a problem. So you just shut me down. Now that you realize it's a problem, you can hear me. You can hear what I've been trying to tell you. Do you ever have that feeling? You finally hear Krishna and you're like, why didn't I listen to you like 10 years ago? That would have like saved me so much trouble. Have you been telling me this for 10 years? Yeah. Dull head. Of course, I've been telling you it for 10 billion years. And now you kind of sort of heard something for the first time in 10 billion years. The more we want to be Krishna conscious, the more we hear Krishna. It's that simple. Dadami buddhi yukam tam. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, from Abhinav Prabhu. Hare Krishna Gurudev. In one video, you said that chanting should be selfless. So how to understand what you said today regarding investing desire for pure bhakti? Sometimes I get confused. I either chant in the mood to please Krishna or chant with the desire of attaining pure bhakti.
Yeah, the desire to attain pure bhakti is not selfish. Even a desire to taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness is not selfish, because that'll please Krishna. Okay. Anything that I want that will please Krishna is not selfish. Anything that I want that'll help me get closer to Krishna is not selfish. I mean, in theory it's not. You could make it selfish. Of course, I wouldn't say that we couldn't make it selfish, but if nothing's selfish if it's in the service of Krishna. Even if it is, as long as it's for Krishna, at least it's for him. I like to cook. That's selfish. Yeah. I've been cooking since I was 2.5 years old. I just can't get it out of my blood. Okay, what do I do now? Cook for Krishna. Now you go in the kitchen and think, okay, this is for Krishna. And the whole time you're meditating on this is for Krishna. You're not thinking, I like to cook and I'm just going to cook. But you do like. But now your meditation is this will please Krishna. And so then that's it, best you can do. You know, if you're a Vaishya, it's pretty hard to stop making money, even if you don't need it. You just do it. So if you're a Vaishya, you better have some big projects going on. Because if you're going to make all that money, you need an excuse for it. And if you're a Vaishya to the core, you can make money all day. Doesn't matter how much you can make more. Like the story. You told me that story? Yes. There's somebody. Oh, there's this. Did you tell the story of the boat, the guy with the boat?
Oh, no.
No.
It was with me there.
What?
You were on the phone.
Oh. Was it? Yeah. I heard the story a little differently, but
Yeah.
this guy's got a boat, and I heard that he changed it because the guy's a fisherman. And he's on a boat, and he has a boat, and he's in a little village like this. And he's got some shack he owns, an old piece of land he owns. And he fishes, gets his fish, and sells a few, and it's like, everything's good. And some tourist comes and goes, hey, why don't you get a second boat? I said, what for? I said, you can make more money. And then you can get a fourth boat. And I said, actually, you can just bring your business over to the West and get, the blah, blah, blah. And the guy keeps saying, then what? Then what? Then what? Then what? And the businessman says, then when you build it up big enough, it goes on the stock market, blah, 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 you can retire. And he said, well, what will I do when I retire? He said, just go on the boat and fish. He says, well, that's what I do. I'm hard to do. Why did we tell that story? What was the point? I forgot. You remember?
So if you're a Vaishya,
Oh, yeah, exactly. So if you're a Vaishya, that's how you think. 4 boats, 8 boats, bring it to the West, get a big barge, put it on the stock market. So if you think like that, it's like you can't, it's just the way your mind thinks. There are so many ways to make money, and they cross my mind for like a nanosecond. They don't stick because I'm not a Vaishnava. Yeah, if I did that, if I would have bought this land, I probably, 20 years ago, I would have bought some gold, If I would have just invested in, Google, it's like, I'd be filthy rich. And it lasts like 3 seconds and it goes. It doesn't stick. For Vaishya, that's all they think about 24/7. There's nothing else in their head, basically. And every opportunity to make money, they're doing it. So if that's your nature, it's not like, I'm so selfish, it's just that's your nature. So you better have a lot of big projects going on. And if you're like that, give me a call. I'll help you spend your money. So I'm good at it. I've got a lot of big projects in my head, but not a desire to make the money, because I'm not a Vaishya. It's a fact. I see it in myself. I go, oh, that'd be good. You can make money doing that. And I'm like, I forget. Go write a book instead, So we have that nature, what to do, engage it, and it's okay. You have to engage it, otherwise it'll engage you. You'll be a mess, right? Markandeya, he has to sing songs and play guitar, otherwise he'll kill somebody, right? Pretty much. Me too, I'll be the same, yeah. Watch out. If you don't let me do kirtan, watch out, I could be dangerous. And some devotees, they have to manage. That's just their nature, they manage. Let's just walk in the room. Why are you sitting this way? We could move it this way, the windows, like that. Put that over there, a chair. That's just how they think. This place is okay. Well, you could have got another place. I know, I'm going to look and see. Maybe there's a better place. That's just how they think. You can't stop them. And someone else is like, I hate to manage. Can you be a temple president? Never. Never want to do it. Nightmare. I hate it. That's okay. Use your nature in a Krishna conscious way. So it's not, I wouldn't see it so much as a personal selfish desire. I would see it more as nature. Right? One more question.
From Krishna Prem.
Yes.
In one Srimad Bhagavatam class, I heard that we should pray to Krishna if we want to ask him to provide us with something. Otherwise, if we just expect him to do so without actually praying for it, then we put him in a position of a servant, that he should read our minds, hearts, and provide.
Sounds like something a wife would say to their husband. No. The husband would say to the wife, like, if you want something, tell me, I'm not a mind reader. Yeah.
But you once said that if we pray to Krishna to provide something, it means we don't trust that he will take care of us and provide. How to understand this?
I think both things are true. It depends on your mood. Because prayer is one of the processes. So, we could say, if prayer is one of the 9 processes of bhakti and you want something, then that's how to ask for it. So my answer to combine both of these is pray and expect. Like, don't pray and not expect. So expect, yes, Krishna, you'll provide, I know that. But, well, if it's for a loaf of bread, don't pray for that. It depends. Because Prabhupada condemned that. And he says, why are you praying for God? The elephant, I just heard yesterday, he said, the ant's getting his food, and the elephant gets his food and eats a lot, and he's not going to church at all. You've never seen an elephant praying for food, and he's eating 2 tons. So I think they're different ideas. And according to your bhav and your mood, you can go either way. So I think the idea of praying like for food, shelter, you pray to Krishna, it just shows like a lack of faith. Like, why would you pray to him for that? It's like, you don't trust me. But praying for pure bhakti, that's really good. That's in our line that we pray for those things. So it depends what you're praying for also. You're a 5-year-old kid and you're praying to your father, there's going to be dinner tonight. You're praying like 3 p.m. Oh, my Father, I'm begging you at your lotus feet, please provide dinner. There's never been a night he hasn't provided dinner. The father's like, what's wrong with you? Like, you don't think I'm going to provide you dinner? So that may be inappropriate in that sense. But if you use prayer as a manifestation of your bhakti, Krishna, please purify me, that's good. Oh, I know he'll purify me, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Yeah, okay. But it's in our line to pray for it. Because it magnifies the desire in our heart also. And it's just showing Krishna, like, it's not that it's just in my heart, I'm verbalizing it. When you verbalize something, it means it's like, I don't like you, but I don't say anything. That means I don't like you. My not liking you isn't that bad. But when I say it, it means I really don't like you because I said it. So it's like, that prayer is like, yeah, I really want this because I'm praying for it, as opposed to, you ever feel that way? Yeah, Krishna, I want this, but you don't pray for it? I was like, maybe you don't want it because you're not willing to pray for it. But once you pray for it, it's like, whoa, this is serious here. I just prayed for that. Okay, I better, be the act now. I better, be the change I just prayed for. So it is part of bhakti, and it does manifest that way. So in that sense, when you want to advance more something pure, praying for it is really good. For you, and it shows Krishna what you want. But for other things, why not just depend on Krishna?
I have a little question. I just thought about grihastas that the individuals in the couple, they are not equal with maybe how advanced they are in Krishna consciousness, and sometimes I'm thinking like, what if the one person like pulls the other one down, or like also pulls up, elevates and help the other one, but also like if one is ready to make a step towards something, but the other one is not
Oh, okay.
you know.
Well, it's kind of like two questions. The one who's weaker should be careful not to pull the stronger down. And then you're saying the stronger, then I think what you're saying, don't force the weaker to go up because you want to go up, because they're not ready. Yeah.
You don't want to stop the other one to go up with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to stop your partner from going up.
Yeah.
Unless your partner's Bhakta Burfi, because when Bhakta Burfi goes up, he becomes crazy. So sometimes that fear is there. My husband was so advanced, he won't even look at me anymore. Vishwanath, I think it was Vishwanath Chakravarti's guru said he wasn't sleeping with his wife. He said, you should sleep with your wife. So he got in the bed and stayed up all night and chanted japa. So, but he's probably not that advanced yet. Or are you? So that's a fear of a woman, like, don't go so fast, I'm down here. But you have the example of Prithu Maharaj. She was very pure. And he was asked to marry, and he was so detached he didn't want to, he didn't need to. But he did it as a duty. So even though he was very detached, he never left them behind. His detachment was internalized. It didn't externalize very much, at least not in relation to the family where they were insecure. So I think that's also part of it. If one is more advanced, they shouldn't make the other one think like, I'm leaving you in the dust now, and there's relationship is going to get weird now. That's not good, because you never know who's going where, when, and how fast. It can change. 5 years later, he could be like, nah, I just want to move to the beach and surf. And you're like, I just want to be a pujari. Whereas now it might be the opposite. You don't know what can happen. That's part of the challenge of Grihastha life. You always have to be considerate of the other person's needs. But without it affecting your own. So that you can adapt to them if they're not moving as fast as you, but it's not going to be negative for them. That's mature Grihastha life, I think. Not always easy, but necessary. Things which are necessary, not always easy, but much more difficult when you don't do them. It's always good to remember that. We think, that's so difficult. Yeah, well, try not doing it. That's way more difficult. So hard to chant good rounds. Yeah, okay, chant bad rounds. See how hard that is. Your life is going to be really hard if you chant bad rounds. So hard to be celibate. Okay. Try not to be celibate. See how hard that is. It's much more difficult. So, it's always good to remember that. Whatever is hard, but good for you, will also be more difficult if you don't do it. More difficult than the difficulty you have in controlling yourself. Yes? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anything, we've finished, I guess, right? Okay, everyone in Facebook land, we're going to say goodbye to you. Tomorrow we're having a workshop or something, or a Bhagavatam
Yes,
class?
But we will have to probably change the schedule a bit.
Well,
Yes.
we'll keep you informed.
But the class should start somewhere around 9:30. We will inform everyone.
Oh, so class tomorrow could be later, like 9:30, which means if you're in the East Coast, you can see it at 3:30 a.m. Well, not that you probably would want to get up for that. Okay, good question, Krishna Premi. And I think I'm satisfied with that answer for now. If I come up with a better answer, I'll let you know. You know, the praying is very individual because your prayer has to be real for you. And so what's real for one is not real for another. So sometimes devotees may pray for a material facility because they know that they need it according to their nature. And they're not getting it and they're disturbed and they could see if I just had this. If I just had this job over here where I could work from home for 6 hours a day, that's way better than this other job where they're working me like a robot for 12 hours a day and with all these, in a very toxic environment. So, you know, Krishna, help me find this other job. Or, you know, and sometimes Krishna is like, well, why don't you, use your brain and, get trained and this and that, and then you can work from home. So it's got to work together. You can sometimes the prayer is, Krishna, give me intelligence to figure out how to solve the problem, not like Krishna just solve the problem. Get rid of this boss. He's driving me crazy. How about give me the insight how to deal with him? That's also often a better prayer. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanandi.